Hi guys. More on Derion Vince. Seems like he had a mistress. Yes, a mistress or two. Obviously, he was cheating. He's a cheating man. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? Well, turns out to be true. This one woman has come forward. I don't know if any other women will come forward, but she is on Derion's side, and she believes that he could not do such a thing, meaning murder. But you know, Malia didn't get where she got on her own, did she now? Now, she said she was seeing him for about a year, and she met him on a date website. Fancy that. Another cheater. And she's not the first woman, mark my words. She's not the first woman that he was messing around with while he was with Brittany. So he's a cheater, and it has been proven so. But this lady, this woman, is not telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because in her interview, she had been proven to be lying on some things. Because Fox 26, the lady that interviewed her, had gone back on some of her statements that she had made and were proven to be lies. And the detectives also said she was lying. And this is why maybe she does not want to talk to the detectives, because they know she is lying. We don't know she's lying about everything, but she surely is lying on some things. Now, the detectives had spoke to her or sent her texts, or and this lady seems to be in a little trouble. Yes, she's been in a little trouble. We don't know what kind of trouble she has been in, but according to the detectives, she has felony warrants out for her arrest in other states. How about that, guys? How about that? So, because she has felony warrants out in other states, we don't know what they are at this time. So they probably don't believe what she has to say. But anyway, she states that she met Derion on a website tag or something like that, and was seeing him for around a year, and finished with him in April sometime, and states that she wasn't seeing him after April, but she was talking to him though. And at one time, Brittany found her number and maybe went on this website or something and threatened her. Yes, Brittany threatened her and said she'll meet her somewhere and beat her up or something like that. She was going to meet her and beat her butt. Oh yeah, Brittany was going to beat her butt. Yet Brittany says she isn't a violent person. Okay, so Brittany knows that Derion is a cheater and a liar. But she stayed with him though, didn't she? Now, how did Derion have time to see this woman, or women's? They make time, don't they? They make time. They both seem to be painting a picture of family. A family. And Derion's cheating on her all along. But because you're a cheater, does that make you a murderer? Well, this is all getting a little confusing because they're all starting to talk, but only giving little bits of information, which is either to confuse people into really what's going on here, because they're all telling a different tale. But Malia Davis is the one that is dead. She's the one that is no longer on this earth. And she is going to get her justice. She is going to get her justice. And today was the 9th of June. Houston, Texas lights up for Malia. And Malia, this is her day. This is her day to shine. But it shouldn't have been this way for her to shine and be loved by so many. But this is her day. And this is Malia's day. She believes, this woman, the mistress, believes Derion is innocent. She also states, look at Bowens. Brittany. Bowens. Look at her. Now this lady is scared that she's going to get arrested. Arrested for what? If you didn't do anything, then you don't have no worries. Brittany Bowens is probably scared that she's going to get arrested too. But everybody's talking, and they keep talking to save face. And maybe they shouldn't be talking. Because if you have a lawyer, your lawyer says, keep your mouth shut and don't talk to the press. But they're talking, so that's good. Just keep talking. And she also says Derion was wanting to leave Brittany. It seems like Derion was a bit trapped. I don't know. What stopped Derion leaving Brittany? She says Bowens is not a good mother. Derion said that. She is not a good mother at all. And this is why Derion stayed. For the sake of his child and the other two, Malia and her brother. He didn't want to report this, that she's not a good mother, because what's he talking about? A good mother. What's a good mother? What's a good mother? We don't know what he means by she's not a good mother. Was she beating her child? Was she abusive to her children? Brittany said she's a good mother, and she gave them the love, and she gave them what she could. But he seems to be the one doing everything. So the picture looks at this time. Because I think there's proof of that. All the things that he was doing. Daycare, picking them up, dropping them off. And, there's lots of pictures out with him, with the children. Stuff like that. We don't see much of her about with the children, loving on them. At this time, that is. At this time. So, it's all about the love right now. The love that was given to Malia. Seems like, this is about Malia. So, he says that he would never hurt Malia. He loved her like his own. Like his own. And she was very precious to him, but I don't know what he means by that. Because we could take that 2 or 3 different ways, couldn't we? Something weird about it. That he would love Malia as much as he loves her. Maybe there's more to the story. But he says she never suffered. But we still don't really know what he means. She didn't suffer. I just don't understand those words. She never suffered. She's dead. How does she die? What do you mean she didn't suffer? Her body was dumped like trash along a roadside for animals to eat her up, and she was also run over by the grass cutter and stuff like that. We don't need to go into the details, but we all know what happened. And like she said, the mistress, we'll go back to the mistress, she says that she stopped talking to him after Malia went missing. But she said she stopped talking to him after Malia went missing. Okay, I'm just going to touch on that part because according to Derion, his phone was lost. Yes, he lost his phone. So how was she talking to him after Malia went missing? Did he get another phone? Did he get another phone? Because nobody else could get in touch with him. Brittany couldn't get in touch with him and things like that because he said he lost his phone. But yet the mistress says she stopped talking to him after Malia went missing, after she was reported missing. So maybe there's a lie there. There's a lie there. But that can be easily proven about his phone being lost because the detectives are looking into his phone records, and if he states that he lost his phone, if there is any phone calls on that phone, they will be found. So he probably may be proven a liar there, but we'll see. He may have got another phone, but they just stayed friends after April. They stayed friends. Yep, they stayed friends. I don't know what kind of friends they were, because it looks like they were sex texting and stuff like that over the phone. You stay friends, but yet you're communicating in that manner. If indeed that picture of his private parts were sent to her, and God knows what she sent him. But she also states that she writes him every day. And they put his address on the interview up. Well, on the channel, one of the news channels. They put his address up there. So, so people can write him now. Yep. And they probably have been writing him. It's not hard to find his address. He's in jail. easily looked up if you wanted to look him up. But anyway, his address was flashing on the TV screen. And also, in this interview, she didn't want to be recognized, so they blurred her out. But they didn't blur everything out. You can see her tattoos, her scars, and other things that you can identify her with. So they only blurred her face out. They didn't blur her phone, her tattoos, her scars, or anything like that. So, or her voice. Now she says she's been getting threats on Facebook. Here we go, Facebook. Get off Facebook then. Get off Facebook, because you know you're going to be a target. The mistress is always the target. Now, this is not another Chris Watts case, because it's a little different. She had finished with him, and she wasn't the only girl that he seemingly having affairs with, or whatever he was doing. Sex buddies, I don't know. But we sure know that Vince was a cheater. And he couldn't leave Brittany. Something was holding him back. Because she states that he seemed like he just gave up and said, you know, this is my life. I can't leave her. She's got a hold on him. Now, it's probably the kids. Well, it's got to be the kids, you know. Because, like I said, she says that Brittany was not a good mother. But that's coming from her. And seems like she tells a lot of lies. And so, we can't believe everything she says. But we're just pointing out what she said. You know, and we make our own conclusion about that. So, like I say, start out in a lie. Nobody's going to believe a word you say. If you wanted to come on national TV and plead your case, why were you lying? Why lie? Like I said, I don't know which part she was lying about. But, QX, Quenelle X, reacts to her interview. Because remember, QX has already reached out to her. And whatever he said to her. Now, the mistress said that QX is a liar. And you know why? Because she says QX didn't talk to him for 2 days after he said he talked to him. What? I don't understand that part. I listened to it and I went, what? And QX said, well, how did we know where the body was? How did we know where the body was? But this is what she said. QX did not speak to Derion 2 days after. I don't know what's going on in this case. It's getting more like the whole stories are getting twisted. And this is what the detectives don't like. Or do they? But this puzzle's got to be put together, and it's all twisted right now. But there's one thing we do know. Malia was never seen after the 30th of April. Alive. walking out that apartment with her brothers. She did not come out of that apartment alive. That's for sure. But Derion says he loved Malia and would never hurt this child. He loved her. So much love for her he has. And I don't know why. It's making me feel a bit blech, like blech. And, you know, when she, remember they said they lived with Brittany's mother for a while, and this is when she had hurt herself. The head injury was at her mother's house, but they were living there at the time. And Brittany is supposed to be the caretaker of this child. So, you know, Brittany's not off the hook. I don't know what they're going to do with Brittany, because there's abuse and there's results from this abuse. With her serious head injuries, which she had to have surgery for. And she was in her mother's care. And that's all there is to it. So she is under the radar. And she is not off the hook, believe me. There has to be charges filed on this woman. I don't know what else they can get on her, but neglect is one. Abuse is hard to prove, but this seems to be an ongoing thing with the CPS on allegations in these children's life, and Derion has been in these children's lives for a long time. So, but the mistress says that Brittany was not a good mother, but Brittany's been on her interviews and told them that she was a good mother, but she said she did what she could. She did what she could, but what does that mean? What you could? Get out of bed once in a while, I suppose. You know, get a job once in a while. You know, if you did what you could have, you would have had a job, and you wouldn't be in the hole you are in. You kept yourself down. Because apparently, he was trying to make you get a job. Derion was trying to get her to work. Well, what does that say? She's a lazy mother. Other words, he's saying she's a lazy mother. It does take to bring up a family, you know, to make it work, to bring the money in, to have a better life, to get you out of the hole. He's not even the father of the two children, but is taking care of them the best he could, I guess. But you're the sole caretaker of all three children, because you are the mother, and you chose not to work. Oh yeah, you got a job, but this was only this year you got a job. What about all the other months and months and months? You did what you could do. Well, if that was true, you could have got a job and worked a different shift, couldn't you? Like most people do. They work different shifts to bring the children up, because they can't afford daycare. And, you know, I don't know what her mother, maybe her mother can't take care of the kids. Do you know what I mean? All the time. It's not the grandparents' responsibility to bring your children up. It's their grandchildren. But it's not their responsibility. Don't put it on the grandparents to take care of your children. Number one, they can help out. They're happy to help out. But they're not happy when they have to take care of your children because you're irresponsible. Always coming up with excuses. Now, there may be more to Brittany Bowens than we know, because she seems like she's not all there somewhere. Twilight Zone. Maybe she suffers from depression. I'm not making any excuses, but do you think she might have been suffering from some mental issues? She's emotionless. No emotions from this woman that we think she should be having as a mother. She's a dark hole. She's, like she said in her interview, my daughter was always concerned about me. Your daughter shouldn't be concerned about you. You shouldn't even put that upon your daughter to be worrying about how you're feeling. See, you twisted it again. Came back to you. It came right back to you. She was always concerned how you were feeling. And she had an old soul about her. Yeah. So this just proves your mothering skills. For you to make a statement that your daughter would be worrying about how you feel. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. She just always puts it back on herself. Back on herself. But still, this mother doesn't have the emotions we think she should be having. But not everybody reacts the same. That is for sure. But in the interview, I expected her to break down. I expected her to be having tissues, her nose running, sniffling, heart beating, because at this time her daughter's just been confirmed dead, and should something have triggered in her head that her daughter's dead and have these emotions. But she spoke very well. There was no stuttering about her. There was no nose running. She had her head down a lot. And people that are in a state of emotion and can hardly talk, their nose will be running and they will have to have tissues, keep wiping their nose and wiping their eyes. But that didn't happen with her. And her daughter has been confirmed dead. She has not put out too much about her life with her daughter, putting videos up in memory of her daughter. She has not done that. She hasn't even done her own memory, her life, her joys, her sorrows. There's nothing. Nothing. Now, the whole of Houston, Texas came out today in pink in the memory of Malia Davis. She was in the hearts and thoughts of the whole world today. This was her day, but it shouldn't have been that way. It should never have been that way. She should have grown up and had her own children. You robbed her. You robbed her of being a mother. You robbed her brothers of seeing their sister. You robbed their life too. this little girl is dead, and everybody, the grandparents, everybody has been robbed. And they have more heart than you, the mother. Brittany, your mother showed more compassion, heartfelt, in her short interview she did. You just stood in the background, just standing there with a piece of paper in your hand, a flyer. Not a tear came out of your eyes. This was your chance to plead to the public for the safe return of your daughter when your mother was speaking on national TV. And she was the one that had to speak. And she said that she didn't know she was going to be talking. She shouldn't have been talking. She meant her daughter should have been doing all the talking. And she had tears in her eyes and could hardly talk for that moment. And she was only missing, presumed kidnapped at that time. No wonder your mother doesn't want to talk to you anymore. She's disgusted. She's heartbroken and she's disgusted about the whole situation. And now her granddaughter's dead. And she believes, in my words that is, she believes that you had something to do with it and did nothing. Or maybe she believes that you are the abusive one. But you know what? She's keeping quiet, like she should. She's keeping quiet. She doesn't want her words twisted. She's talking to the right people at the right time. No doubt about it. But as the mistress says, she writes to him every single day. We all know where that's going. We all know that letters will be released to the public at some point. We know that. That's coming. Love to hear what she said. Love to hear what she said. Because they are going to be used in evidence. And anybody that writes to Derion will and can be used in evidence. We know that already. And that's it for now, guys. There's the photos of the Houston Memorial today, the Malia Day, the 9th of June, where supporters of Malia came out in thousands wearing pink, because that was Malia's favorite color, was pink. They all came out in memory of Malia. And this will be Malia's Day, 9th of June, 2019. And thank you guys for stopping by.